What's going on, everyone? Brandon back with another episode of the CRE Hustle. And today's guest is Robert Martinez. He is the founder and CEO of Rockstar Capital, a multifamily investor in the Houston, Texas area. They currently have over 4,000 units in the apartment sector and manage over $420 million assets under management. Robert Martinez. How did you get into this space? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Robert Martinez. I'm the owner and founder of Rockstar Capital. Rockstar Capital is an investment and property management firm based in Houston, Texas. Today, we have 4,100 units under self-management with a portfolio value of $420 million. I got started back in real estate in January of 2007. Believe it or not, I joined through a real estate club. I was dissatisfied with my corporate America job. I have an engineering degree from Texas A&M. And so post-school, I went out into the oil and gas market. I was a commission sales guy. And so I expect to be paid for what I kill at night. And when they start monkeying with your commission plan a few times, you realize that the game is fixed. You want to live here. Corporate America wants you to live here. I didn't want that because that meant they had control of the kind of lifestyle I was going to lead and ultimately, my generational wealth. I didn't even know what generational wealth was at that point, to be honest. That's something that's been acquired and learned. So that took me into a real estate club here in Houston. I spent $500 to go to a 2-day weekend boot camp. I went on the Saturday program. I thought I was going to be the single family king. And I'm like, man, this is exciting. I went back to Sunday and I learned about multifamily. It's when I was first introduced to the magic formula. What I've called the magic formula. It's the valuation formula and how apartments are different than single family rentals. And I was sold. I wrote a check for $10,000 and that check changed my life. I don't even understand how to computate the ROI that I've gained from that $10,000. I mean, a net worth tens of millions of dollars because of the real estate that I owned, and very fortunate for my investors as well because we've made them a lot of money. I get no better feeling than when I hear that somebody's retired because of the investment they've had with me, over the years. So I started in that club. I had a business partner. He and I met in the club. He was the face of the company, and I was the operational arm. Over the next 3 years, from 2007 to 2010, we bought 10 deals, over 2,000 units during the recession. So I was born in the fire of the recession. Luckily, because I had a sales background, I knew how to go hand to hand and try to survive. But we were able to successfully complete 3 refinance events. As all partnerships go, they're meant to start and they're meant to end. Ours ended. I started Rockstar Capital in 2011. Over the next 10 years, we've earned 19 city-state National Apartment Association awards, 13 cash-out refinance events. I'm the country's only 2-time NAA Independent Owner of the Year. Most recently, I was crowned the 2021 Texas Independent Owner of the Year.
That's amazing. So congrats on all of your success and accomplishments there. So looks like the future is bright for you. You guys keep growing there. I see your team's growing. So that's great. I guess, go into a little bit about a deal, whether it's a most recent deal or even a deal that you first started getting into the multifamily space. What would that one deal, how that basically taught you so much, whether that was challenges or just new things that you had to accomplish?
Well, before you get into anything, make sure that you get some education. There's an expression that I think I coined. So before you invest in anything, invest in yourself. Find a real estate club like I did. Find somebody's mastermind. Do something, right? Because the whole point of those organizations is to teach you not what to do, but to teach you what not to do. Because life is about momentum, and you need momentum to get ahead. And if you experience issues, you're going to derail your momentum, and it might actually kill you. It might actually stop what you're trying to do. So I'm a big fan of making sure that you surround yourself with mentors and you get the education, because nobody knows how to buy apartment complexes coming out of the womb. It's not how it works. You have to be taught this. So invest in yourself. I've bought a lot of deals. I've run over 6,000 units. Many of them have taught me different things. I've learned some deals that it's just a matter of tweaking the needle a little bit, right? And just lowering rents down. And next thing you know, you're able to hit the market and you get a little bit of demand, you lease up, and now you can start to push your rents back. I bought a deal in 2014 called Midtown Grove. It was my first Class A deal, a little 51 unit deal though, right? Up to that point, they've been 100 unit workforce housing deals in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stay small because I can control small. And I'm going to buy in the Class A space because I'm going to be the low cost Class A provider. But what happened that year was that when I was doing my underwriting, oil was $100 a barrel. When I closed the deal, it was $60 a barrel. And that Christmas, it was $30 a barrel. There was the oil crisis there, and that really affected Houston. And I learned the importance of unit count. I thought that 51 units would keep me safe because I can control it. I can move in, move out. I can control it all. I can have one of my leasing agents that I could give a manager role at a lower cost salary overhead against the 51 units. And I had a pool and I had a gym. Well, I didn't anticipate the economic downturn. It was at a time and place where Houston's getting 25 to 30,000 new units. And new units, they go in the best parts of town. We were located in downtown. So all you have these 400 or 500 units coming online, and they got every bell and whistle. They have the hot yoga room. They got the steam room. They got a sauna. They got the gym. They have the pool. They have business centers. They have whatever amenity you can think of, they had. I had a pool, and I had an executive style workout room. So it was very difficult. I learned social media because of that deal. I learned reputation management because of that deal. That deal taught me that if you can't be the biggest, you better be the loudest. And I'm going up against these 400 or 500 unit guys that have everything, but it wasn't their kids' neck on the line though. Right. Because when I bought that deal, it was recourse to me. Signing on a note for $8 million recourse to me. And here I am going up against these behemoths, not realizing that I brought a knife into a gunfight. And so I was forced to learn social media. I was forced to learn leads and reputation management. And by the end of that deal, we were ranked top 1% in the country for reputation management among all players. My little 51 unit deal in Houston, Texas was ranked in the top 1% out of 130,000 communities in the country.
Wow. Great.
I also learned personal branding from that, right? Because the lessons I took from that deal, I took the rest of my portfolio. And we blew up their leads and we blew up their ability. And I also, the apartment Rockstar was born from that as well, right? Because attention follows money, money follows attention. So it's a comment that I learned from my friend, Grant Cardone. And so had that deal not come around, I would not be where I'm at today. I know that. That deal taught me the importance of marketing and the importance of online marketing, where a lot of guys haven't figured that out yet. I mean, at that time we had maybe 10 properties. And we only had two properties had a website. The rest didn't, because they were like lower class C, class B type deals. That deal taught me a lot. And on paper, it only made like 7% a year return. I mean, I think we've only made like 28%. But that deal taught the lessons for the rest of the portfolio that have allowed us to go on and just return massive numbers to our investors. I mean, over the last 10 years, I've raised $138 million in private capital. That only happens when you're able to do 13 cash out refinance events. Well, how did you get there? You were the loudest.
Yep.
It's not the best product. It's the best known product.
Right. Yep. You could have the best product, but if nobody buys you or no one knows you, then you have nothing. So
no, the reason why you drink Bud Light or Budweiser and not the craft beer down the street is because Bud Light and Budweiser advertise on Super Bowl.
Exactly.
They have the biggest marketing budget in the world. The reason why other people, stand out is because you know who they are, right? So attention is very, very important in life. You got to learn that. It's not like what mom and dad said back in the day: stay quiet, color in the lines, keep your head down. That doesn't work.
Yep, exactly. So, and you brought up a good point. Obviously, I think, but there's a lot of people that go through courses or go to a bunch of webinars, and try to learn and have that knowledge, which is great to obviously have a stronger foundation, learn from people that have made those mistakes so that you don't make them. Obviously doing doing those first deals and that 51 unit deal, you learn so much that you just shared. How does someone know when exactly? Obviously you're always constantly learning, but when do, maybe someone that's watching this, that maybe they've been a commercial real estate broker and they know the multifamily space, but when's that kind of trigger or that starting point of, you know what, I know so much. When do you actually get started?
Now. I mean, the best time to buy real estate was yesterday. The next best time is today. Anything 5 units and above is considered a multifamily.
Yeah.
So you don't need to have a lot of unit counts to get your career started. 5 units, anybody can do 5 units.
Yeah.
And if you do 5,
what's kind of that mindset though of, that maybe shifted of, I know enough information now I can actually go out and do it. I think maybe that's the thing that people need to get over.
When you get tired of watching everybody else make money. I mean, I didn't start out as a commercial broker. I was an engineer. Right. I did this because I got pissed off at corporate America. I got pissed off that I should have made 300,000 and I was only making 170. Yeah. I mean, it just upset me. And when you get upset enough times, you'll take action. The reason why I didn't die in that Midtown Grove deal is because necessity is the mother of invention. I refused to die. So you have to have a will. It's a will to be better, right? Because what gets in the way of a great life? A good life. For a lot of people, they would have taken the 170 a year and would have been happy with it. I did that for about a year. And I realized, dude, I should have this. I should have had that. I should have more money in the account. I didn't have it. My employer had it. And I didn't think that was fair because I worked for it under the terms and conditions that we had. And you basically said, nope, sorry. Can't pay you more than your sales manager. That's stupid. Yeah. So you got to get pissed off. So if you're a broker out there in the commercial space and you're watching guys like me make money and you think that you can do it as good as me, then you should prove it to yourself. Prove it to your wife. Do it for your kids. Show them a better life. Do something that makes you want to get up every single morning and go kill for somebody. We're going to buy a deal. Today's Wednesday. On Friday, my single biggest deal of my career, 41 million.
Wow.
I'm going to make money on that deal.
Yep.
Which means I'm going to make the most I've ever made on one deal when I get it. Right. So my point is, I don't know what you're driven by, whether it's money or something else, but having a deal like that has provided me generational wealth. Having deals like that has created a lifestyle that I can only dream of. Having a deal like that has provided for my children and probably their children. And so the situation I'm in is like, I only, you don't have to be money motivated, but money can get you something else that it does motivate you. Whether that's peace of life, whether that's flexibility, whether that's, whatever it is, it's there for you. So anybody out there, 5 units or more gets you an apartment complex. And then you start from there. Show that you can do it, learn to knock on doors, take care of the residents. It's all about renewal, right? Every time somebody moves out, it costs you $3,000 of true NOI expense. Well, what if they don't move out and they renew? Right. At a 6 cap, you just made yourself $50,000.
Yep.
Every one of those 5 units is worth another $50,000 if they stay and they don't move out. Well, you go sell it to somebody else. You take your profits. You now go get a 50-unit deal. And at 50 units, you can get you a full-time manager. Exactly. You do the same thing. Now you double up to a 100-unit deal or 120-unit deal. Now you can get a full-time maintenance guy and a manager. So now you become the guy that's working on the business and not working in the business. Right. My early years, I was there knocking on doors. I had to learn the hard way. Yep. I wanted to make sure that I learned that before I could take $1 from anybody. I wanted to know that I could do it.
Excellent. How would you say, going into the next question, how do you see commercial real estate, obviously primarily multifamily, how do you see that changing? Obviously we've had COVID, which has been kind of, an unforeseen circumstance there. How has that affected things, and how do you kind of see multifamily changing, whether that's technology coming in, different marketing channels, or, maybe this unforeseen COVID wave 3 or whatever they say?
COVID was the best thing that ever happened to Rockstar Capital. And I would never have been able to tell you that until I went through it. Let's look at what survived the COVID experience and what thrived. Amazon, Netflix, Zoom. What do you have to have for each of those 3 to work, though? 4 walls and a roof. You got to have somewhere to live.
Yep. And
during COVID, guess what happened? Nobody moved out. Renewals skyrocketed. And I just told you that expression earlier, right? Where you make $50,000 on a 6 cap every time somebody renews. We set record numbers for renewals. Nobody left, right? So in addition to having food, having water, Netflix, Amazon, and Zoom, yep, you got to have a roof over your head. I mean, nobody understood that until now. And yeah, you can say people didn't pay your rent or whatever. We worked with them. We got our rent one way or another. We either helped them with the rent rent relief programs that were out there, or luckily I'm blessed to be in the state of Texas. We have very strong landlord liens laws.
Right.
That allowed me to go into your apartment and take your brand new TV that you bought with your government aid money, because I know you, and then make sure that I got that and got your attention.
Right.
Because that's what happened. We know what happened during this.
Yeah.
You know, we know people are gaming the system.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it. We saw brand new boxes outside with TV boxes by the dumpster. We saw brand new BMWs in the parking lot, but yet they can't pay their rent. You know what happened when I took their $1,000 TV? They came to the office and paid me $6,000 past due rent.
Yep.
But I had to get their attention. Somebody had to say, you know what? I'm going to be the adult in the room, and I'm going to pull the pacifier out and say, hey, I don't care what's happening at the government level. You owe me money one way or another. Mm-hmm. So I'm either going to get it from you now, or I'm going to get it later on in eviction court, because I'm going to file an eviction one way or another. This will be over one day, and the next place you live will not be as nice as this one, because you're going to have an eviction on your record.
Right.
And to your guys watching, right? I hope that I'm not sounding like the greedy landlord. I'm not, but I have $138 million of your parents' money asking me to be this way.
Exactly. You have an obligation.
Yep. I have an obligation to my children. I have an obligation to my family. I have an obligation to the people that gave me the money. And, you know, I don't have institutional money. This isn't like a family office. This isn't, you know, money from New York. These are like the guy, the doctor down the road, the teacher, the dentist, the professional down the street who wanted an alternative to the stock market. What am I going to tell them? That our business went under because I wasn't willing to evict somebody?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's COVID. How would you say marketing? Obviously, you're huge on social. You're doing these podcasts. You know, how important would you say, you know, not only from an investor standpoint, but again, commercial real estate as a whole, and you know how digital marketing is playing in that space?
Well, first I'll say you need to get your money out of cash right now, because during COVID, President Trump created a relief plan that added basically a quarter of every dollar into your pocket. Out of every $5 in your pocket, one did not exist 18 months ago. Now you've got President Biden coming in, doing an infrastructure act, doing the exact same thing, adding another quarter into your pocket. So now 50 cents out of every dollar in your pocket did not exist 18 months ago. Mm-hmm. It's been created a thin air. So you have rampant inflation going on. You've seen the price of lumber increase. If you're in the car market and you're trying to buy a car, you know, the pricing is ridiculous. Yeah. You're seeing people getting their cash out of their wealth out of cash, and they're buying fancy watches. They're buying art, comic books, baseball cards. Gary Vee is a big baseball card guy, right? Talking about putting your money into baseball cards or football cards or whatever, you know. But the smart money, that's great and all. It's nice to look at, but it doesn't pay me monthly income. But you know what does? Bricks and sticks. Income producing assets. So we're trying to buy everything we can. I mean, my God, because of this, interest rates are 2.5%. It's unreal. You know, they're paying you, right? Because the best partner in the whole world, is the bank. Yeah. They give you a terms and conditions, and they say, hey, all I want every single month is for you to pay me X amount. Anything above that is yours. I wish all my partners would be willing to take only 2.5%, and I got to keep the rest.
Yeah.
How great would that be? That is the best partner in the world. You take care of that number one partner, you're going to be fine.
Right. Yep. It's like you can't control insurance, can't control taxes, but you control that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can control what happens in the four walls of your business.
Right. Exactly. What drives you? Obviously, you know, hearing about your kids and your family and creating generational wealth, you know, I would say that that's what probably continues to drive you every single day. What else would you say drives you when things get really, really tough?
You know, my dad worked at a company called Whataburger, which is a fast food competitor to McDonald's, Burger King, Texas-based firm here in Texas. Yeah. My mother worked at Hager's, Levi's, and both those factory jobs closed and went to Mexico during NAFTA. And, you know, my parents' dream for me was just to go to school and get good grades and get a good job, because that's all they knew. Those were my very first mentors. They had no idea about this real estate game. The only real estate we owned was our house. My parents put a 20-year mortgage on it in 1980. And I remember the day it got paid off in 2000, because they were really happy about that. I have an obligation to them.
Yeah.
I have an obligation to live up to my family name. I have an obligation to live up for the generations that are going to come after me. I don't like to lose. I took a personality test. My HR person wanted me to take this test and get everybody's on. And my number one thing was competitiveness. My very best comes out when things are going bad.
Right.
When there's an issue here at work, it's like a blemish to my reputation and my brand. And I don't like it. I don't want it to come out. I hate that it exists. And I have to go out there and prove that we're better than that. Because, especially in my space, there's a lot of guys like me, a lot of syndicators that pull money together and they think that they can run an apartment complex. Very few of them have their own property management company like I do at Rockstar Capital. And my belief in that is that I want to make sure that if I have a plan and I take money from you and I'm signing on the note, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die on my own sword. I'm not going to rely on somebody else and their effort and see if they're willing to get up in the morning and take care of my assets. I know my staff is there at the properties by 9 o'clock. I know they're there. And I can see in the P&Ls every day that they're producing the numbers. And if they don't, I'm going to see that too. And I'm going to make a change. So it's just obligation to see what a kid from South Texas who had no delusions of grandeur like this, that could have done this, can do. I never imagined having a social media following. I never thought I'd be the apartment rockstar. I didn't know Gary V would follow me or Grant Cardone would follow me, or, I have his number now. We have business meetings, about working together. I didn't know any of that stuff. I just put my head down and went to work, lunch bell mentality. But I can tell you, when things are not working, that's when I get mad. That's what drives me, because I hate anybody to think that it was a fluke. Right. I'm constantly living with a chip on my shoulder. I'm a 2-time national owner of the year, and no one's ever done that before. And for me, it's still not enough. Yeah. I got to keep proving myself that I can do it. I got to keep proving that, that I didn't lose my fire, that it wasn't a season of my life, that I've lost my edge, as you get older. That's what happens. Companies get older, get bigger, and they start seeing reduced returns. Back in the day in the recession, I had 20-25% return, and the deals that we have right now don't do that anymore, right? They're more like in that 6 to 8 to 10% cash flow return. Yeah. And those investors want to know, well, why can't I get that? Like, well, I can't buy a deal at $12,000 a door anymore, or $25,000 a door. Yeah. I have to operate. And today's market, with as much, and this, with expensive and the cap rates and everything has gotten the compression. And I mean, you're seeing Class C deals go for $80,000 a door. That was a Class A price when I got into the market in 2007, 2010. And now Class C deals that are older than I am, fetching $80,000, $90,000 a door. I'm about to sell a deal we bought 2014, held it 7 years. People thought I was crazy for paying $80,000 a door for this, mostly one bed 1984 deal. We're going to sell it for well over 100, about 105, 160. People are like freaked out by it, but hey, the NOI is the NOI, right? So, but now I'm also buying into that market. So operations is everything. You better have your operations tight. Right now, on the other side of this camera, in the next room, I have my entire operations team in there, and they're going through our process and procedures because they're not tight enough. We're not buttoned up enough. They need to firm them up, get everything ready to go, because you should be able to run like McDonald's. Right. A McDonald's in Seattle, Washington runs just like a McDonald's in Houston, Texas. Yep. You can take a staff member and interchange them, and it should be the exact same thing. They should know exactly where everything is at and how to operate. Well, that's how we try to take care of it at Rockstar Capital. We've got to get that level of symmetry so that everybody understands where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do.
That's great. So I would say going into the last question here, knowing what you know today and going back, what's that one piece of advice that you'd give this audience about what you know now? What would you have done differently?
I should have gone faster and bought everything I could have in sight. I had a conversation today with my CIO, and we're looking at deals, right? And deal flow is slowing down for us, right? We have plenty of deals that we've underwritten, like 4 billion deals that we've underwritten, but we're only buying our second deal. Like, what's going on? Now, I had this conversation. I said to him, I go, hey, do you know anybody that hasn't made money in the last 10 years? If you've held this deal for 10 years, do you think anybody that bought a deal in 2011 hasn't made money? No. For example, we just sold a deal we bought in 2011. We made almost 1,000% return. Literally, that was always a 9.8x return. Ridiculous. I said to him, do you know anybody that bought a deal 5 years ago that isn't making money right now? No. Okay. How about 3 years ago, 2018? Do you know anybody that's not making any money that we know? No. So with that in mind, do you remember how we didn't buy deals during that time because they didn't underwrite for one reason or another, or they didn't underwrite here or there? And he's like, yeah. Well, what if we would have bought them? Would they be making money today?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, somebody bought them. You just said to me that people are buying deals and they're making money on deals, right? Well, somebody bought them when we decided we didn't want to pay that price.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I got what you're saying. I go, so we're looking at this deal that's an amazing part of town with barriers of entry to build, and you're worried about this and you're worried about that. I'm like, do we want to play or do we not want to play?
Yeah.
You know, I love my guy, right? But he's a banker. You know, bank failure rates like on their loans is like nothing. Like they literally have a 99.86% chance of success because of the underwriting. If you do deals, you know the underwriting is all about the bank, right? That's there to protect the bank. The bank always wins.
Yeah.
But if you do it like a banker, you're never going to make any money because you're never going to be buying a deal. You're going to kick tires like you're at the car lot.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking about this. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I like this. You're finding reasons to not do it.
Right.
So you're either committed or you're not to do this game. Yeah. And so I think that if I could go back and tell myself, I was like, you went too slow. You didn't buy what you should have bought.
Right.
Right now, you're seeing massive compression, and I don't see it going anywhere. I think you're a fool if you don't put money into real estate right now at 2.5%.
Yeah.
That money's out there. They're just giving it. The government printed it. And then one day there'll be a day of reckoning. Well, if there's a day of reckoning, that's cool. And if let's say our currency blows up, that's fine. But I'm going to have my wealth in bricks and sticks that are producing income, because there will be a new currency or there will be a new monetary system. And they're going to have to recognize what I own as value.
Right.
And I'll figure it out. If it's not the USD, if it's not the yen, it'll be something else.
Yeah.
But I want my money in bricks and sticks.
Love it. Awesome. Well, great stuff. Well, Robert, gonna kind of move on there. It was a pleasure having you on. Again, thanks so much for spending the time to be on here. Sure, a lot of them got a lot of value. So again, I wish you all the best, and keep working hard and keep succeeding and winning in the space.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Brandon. I really appreciate it, and congrats on the show. Can't wait to be on again.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.